your paper titled Beyond Spirituality, the importance of push and pull factors in religious tourism. We would also like to express a special thank you to Dr. Tanya Mihalich, co-chair of the program this evening, as well as project assistant Peter Pusher, and our classmates who toiled for weeks to make this paper a reality. Our presentation will provide a synopsis of our research and will unfold as displayed here. Tchaikovsky and Smith, in their 1992 paper, declared that religiously motivated travel is perceived as the oldest and most prevalent type of travel in human history. Depending on the degree of their religious belief, people travel to sacred places seeking truth, enlightenment, or an authentic experience with the divine. However, pilgrims and religious travelers cannot only be defined from a religious perspective, as their willingness to visit might be determined by purely hedonistic reasons, such as the experience of local cultures, as well as landmarks, or an authentic experience with the divine. Our research is conducted from a post-positivist perspective and engages in statistical research analysis. The review was used to design an online questionnaire which consisted of 35 motivational factors for visiting religious sites. The 7-point Likert scale was used to value the push and pull statements, and the data analyzed using SPSS statistics. We began our investigation by delving into the literature surrounding special interest tourism. Based on the review, a customized definition was developed. Special interest tourism is a type of tourism where attractions and activities in a destination meet visitors' specific motivations to create satisfaction and meaningful experiences. It must be noted that special interest tourism can be mass tourism, as was seen this week on our field visit to Medjugorje. The model that was created depicts the connection among the foundation pillars for special interest tourism under one unified model and serves as an explanation of the whole concept. In further definition of our research, pilgrimage tourism can be described as tourism triggered by inner spiritual motives, whether religious or non-religious, and covers visit places of both personal and spiritual interest. Secondly, religious tourism covers traveling to sites of religious significance, regardless of reasons or motivations for such travel. Smith's 1992 continuum of travel model places tourism, which is secular, and pilgrimage, which is sacred, at opposite ends, with various sacred secular combinations in between. Based on this, a two-dimensional travel model was developed, taking into consideration both place and motivation. Based on the first matrix, pilgrimage tourism can be divided into traditional religious pilgrimage, which includes visits to places such as Lourdes, or the more contemporary kind, which involves visits to places associated with music idols. The latter, of course, is driven by non-religious spiritual motives. On the other hand, religious places can be visited for educational purposes or simply out of curiosity. And these travelers from the spiritual perspective correspond to religious stories, as can be seen in Table 2. Thus, it is possible to conclude that firstly, we can distinguish between religious and non-religious tourism, and secondly, we can define pilgrimage tourism as a separate phenomenon which overlaps with both. In this instance, the most crucial factors to consider are the sanctity or non-sanctity of the place and the motivation for visiting it. We will now have the opportunity to discover more about the concepts in this research from my colleague, Syed.
Okay. I didn't really know what was happening there, but I guess they're pushing and pulling me, so I'll be presenting the push and pull factors of religious tourism. Now, when we talk about push and pull factors, we should also remember it does not only pertain to religious tourism, it could pertain to any kind of a product. When a company company creates a product, there is always push and pull factors that are built into it, so customers would be interested in that kind of a product. The model you see here is by Luke. It's in 2003. It presented that there is a tangible end, which is the pull factors are on that end, and the consumer continues the intangible or the push and where the push factors lie. And now we should also mention that some of these factors are intrinsic and some of these factors are external. Now we're going to go into a little bit of depth to understand these better. The push factors first. So when we talk about the push factors, the Crompton in 1979 defined them as socio-psychological motives. It's something that comes from within you. Okay? These are useful for explaining your desire to go on a vacation. So for all of you that love Cartapos or Greece or Cancun and the places you want to go there because you want to go there from within you. Nobody pushes you, hey, go to Cartapos. That's really not going to happen. Your mom and dad might push you to come to school, but that's not the push motive that we're talking about here. Moving on. So here are some of the push factors that you could categorize. The first one is escape. Fish is trying to get out of its place. Sometimes when you get really frustrated, you might want to go to a place where you might find a little bit of peace. It could be just a local cafe with your friends for a drink. It could be a park where you go to relax and things and such. It's self-explanatory. You want to find out who you are. That's why we have some hippies and all those other new hipsters and new trends are coming up. People want to find out who they are, and then they realize, you know, they're a scientist and they start building rockets. Moving on. Relaxation. You want to feel good when you're doing things. Prestige and social interaction, regression, and relation enhancement. We all love to socialize. We're humans, we're social beings. We want to have friends. That's why we created Facebook. And guess what? That's the world's very big company right now. Okay, now let's talk about some pull factors. Now Dan, in 1977, 2 years before Crompton in 1979, realized he had to talk about some pull factors. So pull factors are those that attract the tourist to a given resort. Now this is the sea, sun, and sand that I was talking about before. Alright, so we come to Croatia. How many of you would like to come to Croatia for its beach? Raise your hand. Come on. Alright, lovely. So all of you are being used by the pull factor of Croatia that's bringing you down to here. Okay, now let's look at religion and how these pull factors are affecting that. Alright, so there's a suitable atmosphere for mental relaxation. We had the opportunity to visit Medjugorje. It was an excellent place. I am not Catholic, so I was not really impressed with the religious aspect of it, but the place was phenomenal. You could just relax out there, just beautiful. You could feel the spirit. I don't know what the spirit is, but I believe the spirit is something that is good and it could belong to any religion. Okay?
He's great.
The atmosphere and the feeling of belonging to the site. A lot of the people that are from that place really believe in that place. They base their life on the place. They have tourism and the touristy things, and they're selling. Some of our professors got really excited and they bought half a store of souvenirs that they want to give out to their colleagues when they go back. So that was that. Now, based on all these things, our class decided on a research question that we wanted to find out, and that is, what is the importance of push and pull factors in general? And how do they differ among the various demographic groups in specific? I'd like to turn the time over to my dear friend Luka who is going to analyze and tell you about the findings.
Thank you. Good day. So, how do we do this research? We had to test 4 hypotheses. First one was to test, are the push factors more important than the pull factors in general? Second one was to test, do older people more than younger people rate pull factors higher than push factors? Third one, people who are not religious naturally will rate pull factors of high importance than people who are religious. And the fourth one, females consider pull factors more important than push factors. I have to say this was a very, very broad research. So it was done by 29 students for 22 different countries. And this is what we came up with. So we had 769 respondents. We distribute the survey through Facebook. The number of countries which participate in the survey is 75. That's a very broad sample. Please keep this in mind. Of course, some countries were represented better than the others. There is beautiful Indonesia over there with 23.7%. Also, very nice Bulgaria, 8.8%. And the Russian Federation, 7.2%. The gender ratio in the entire sample was 41.5 males and 58.5 females. That's nice. It's good to be here among beautiful women. So, this is a very important part. The age group was young. This is a very important finding, and this says a lot about the results. 83% of the people who responded to the survey were below the age of 35, only 17 were above. Among the people who were below the age of 35, 46 were non-religious, 54 were religious. And out of these 54, please pay attention, 85.8 practice their religion. In the other age group, religious 67, non-religious 32, 89.4 practice. If you would do some math, you would realize that more than 50% of the people who were involved in the survey do not practice their religion. This is statistics, so we're not going to talk about it a lot. And these are our findings. Unfortunately, here it says that among the entire sample, pull factors were more dominant. So everybody was more influenced to go for pilgrimages, that's what the survey are finding, than by the push factors. Other thing is that even the older people look at the pull factors more than the push factors. Then we were comparing pull and pull. Among religious and non-religious, religious people consider pull factors of higher importance than non-religious. This is kind of logical because non-religious people are not really motivated to go for a pilgrimage. And the other thing is that among females and males, females again consider pull factors more important than the males. And these tests are significant. It was a t-test, but we're not going to go into too much statistics, okay? I think. Our limitations, I've emphasized this, so please bear in mind that this was a very, very broad sample. 76 countries, almost 800 participants. We even moved some participants out of it. It was more than 1,000 answers, but we eliminated some because some people don't understand English perfectly. The entire survey was done in English, and some people were just clicking, to get rid of it. What can we conclude from this? Yes, pull factors eclipse push factors. This is contradictory to our hypothesis. Theory says that push factors are more important than pull factors. But please bear in mind the sample. Main pull factors were culture, arts, tradition, local lifestyle. Basically, if you look at it, these are the things that motivate us to go for vacation. In general, any kind of vacation. This is very interesting. Significant decline in trend of young people devoted to religion. That's not